Hi, I'm Dhanunjaya Rao, a software engineer currently working with coding tutors since 1 year. During this time, I'm constantly upskilling myself and enhancing my technical expertise by working on multiple real-time projects and gaining hands-on experience. One of the projects I worked on is Grocery Buddy, a stock and inventory management system designed to efficiently manage groceries. Do you want to see how it works? Let me walk you through it. This is my project folder structure, where I maintain clean folder structure, the following subfolders. In data folder, I have my items.json file, which keeps track and contains all the items, grocery items which you want to add. These are my functions, main and models files, which contains the main business logic. Let's go through each of them. First, my functions. Here I define my functions, my necessary functions which I want to use. I imported JSON module and OS module. I'm defining the file which looks for the items.json file in the folder. So first I'm defining a load items function, which loads the items.json. If it is not in the path, it returns empty. If it is in the path, it opens in read mode and it returns json.load. I mean, it will load a file in the memory. Next function is save items. I'm passing items, I mean our file as a parameter and opening in write mode. I mean, simply I'm writing data into our items.json file. I'm dumping it. Let's let's go to models. Here I'm defining my models which I use in the project. For this, I'm imported Pydantic module, which is a very important and powerful data validation module in Python. From this, I imported base model class, which is a main class which will be inherited, and field validator. It's a decorator which is used for validations. As I told you, Pydantic is for validation. And from typing module, I'm imported dictionary. So in this project, I mainly use list and dictionary for data storage and data retrieval. So I'm defined several classes here, three classes to be precise. So my first class is item, which of course inherits from the base model class. So for each item, I have three attributes, that is name, price, and quantity. Name is in string, price in float of course, and quantity int. Default I'm taking quantity as 0 because the quantity might be 0, or we can increase or add quantity. Now I'm validating each field individually using field validator, which is used to validate each field which I will pass. So I'm passing name. So first I'm validating name here. For that, I'm defining a function. Name must be alpha because I want each product name should be alphanumeric. I don't want any numbers or any special characters. I want to keep it simple. So I'm defining a function to validate the name field. I'm saying that name must be alphanumeric. If it is not alpha, then I'm raising a value error saying item name must contain only alphanumeric characters, no special characters, no numbers at all. And I'm returning the name in lowercase. Now I'm validating price and saying price should be positive. Of course it is. It doesn't make sense if it is a negative price. So I'm defining a logic saying that if price is greater less than 0, then I'm raising a value saying that price must be non-negative. It should be positive. I'm returning the price. Now I'm validating the last and final field, quantity. Of course, the quantity also must be non-negative. It must be 0, but not negative. So if it is less than 0, I'm raising value error saying that quantity must be non-negative, and I'm returning the quantity. So here I'm just validating the item class with the three attributes, name, price, quantity. So for each item in our JSON items or JSON file, you would have these three attributes with the name, price, and quantity. My next class is update item. So if we want to update the price of an item, I mean, we don't know the markets, the item price must increase, decrease, we don't know. So in that case, if the price get updated, Then I defined an update item class, which of course inherits from base class, base model, sorry. And I'm validating using field validator. Same, the price must be positive. If it is less than 0, I'm raising value here saying that price must be non-negative. And finally, by request class, which inherits from base model with attribute items in dictionary. So let's see the main. This is a main.py which contains my APIs where I define all the necessary APIs used for grocery buddy application. Well, first, before before that, first let me show you how it looks. Then I will tell you how it works. First, let's run the application. So to run in fast API application, so to fast API usually runs on Unicorn server with main is being the file name and app is our instance, fast API instance. And I want to delete it automatically, so I'm running it. So now our server is ready. It's running on this server. Let's open it. So this is our application. And this is the root. Could see that this is a root URL. This is our main application with the following functionalities. It's beautifully saying a grocery buddy application. Welcome, manage your groceries beautifully. It has 6 functionalities to be precise. Let's see each one of them. For each functionality, I define an API. First, let's begin with our landing page, our root API. So this is my root API here. But before that, let me tell you what are these modules I imported. I imported the main fast API module. Fast API is an Python's web framework. It is used to build APIs. So from fast API, I imported fast API class and HTTP exception and form class. And from fast API responses, I'm imported HTML response and redirect response because I'm defining a HTML document in my API function. From typing, I imported list. As I told you prior, I'm using list and dictionary in this project mainly to fetch the items, to store the items in specified lists or dictionaries. And my models, as I told you, models is my file which I defined. From this, I'm importing the following classes. From models, I'm importing item and update classes. Functions is also my file which I defined. From functions, I'm importing these following functions: load and save items. In order to use a fast API, first I need to instantiate it. I'm creating an object for fast API named app. Now I can use the fast API. Now I can write and build APIs using this app instance. So this is a method. This is a router method. In fast API, we have following methods: get, post, put, and delete. Each has its own functionality. First, get is used to fetch the data or retrieve the data, and this is endpoint. This is root, our main endpoint. And response, I'm saying that response class must be HTML response because I want each response should be a HTML page. Now I'm defining a function. This is called path operation functions. For each API, there must be a path operation functions and it must return a result. As I specified here, response class is HTML response. So I'm defining HTML document here. As you could see, this is my HTML page with my root page because my root API returning a HTML document. I defined all the HTML document logic here with the styling. And as you saw, it has the following 6 functionalities: add item, view items, stock report, buy items, update, and delete item. So you can see here, I reference each of the item here, each functionality. My next API is with add item endpoint. First, let's see how it works. As I told you, I have 6 functionalities. Let me try with add item. So this is my HTML response page. I want to add an item. Let's say Apple. Price is, yeah, Apple is expensive. Let's say 30. Quantity is 50. Add item. Item Apple added successfully. Let's go back to home. So item is added. Let's see here in item suggestion. Yes, it is added dynamically. I didn't do anything. I added in my front end. It automatically added in my backend file. How? Let's see. So this is my, as I told, this is my add item API with endpoint add hyphen item. Response class is HTML response because as you saw, we got HTML, beautiful HTML page. With the path operation function, I'm passing message as an attribute. So I'm returning the HTML page. Let's see the main logic. This is all styling. So this is my main API. When I hit this button, let's see, when I hit this button, it called this API and this logic is being executed. Here I have name, price, quantity in form. So we are adding name, price and quantity in form fields. So I'm defining here. First I'm loading the file. I'm entering the name. If name is already in the file or if we don't add any name, then it should raise an exception saying that invalid item details. If the name is not there, the item is not there in the inventory stock, the item is being added with the following name, the price and quantity, and I'm saving the item in our file. So the item is being saved in our stock inventory, and I'm simply returning the response saying that our item is added successfully with the status code 303. So this is our first API. Our next functionality is, let's add a few items. Let's add banana. Price is, let's say 10. Quantity, let's say 60. Add item. Yes, our item is being added. You could, you could observe the endpoints here. This is a home endpoint. If you want to add an item again, it calls this endpoint. Let's say cherry. Price is 20. Quantity is 100. Item, add item. The item is being added. So in this way, we could add the items, and the items are being added into this file dynamically. So our next API is view items. Yeah, next functionality is view items. Let's view our items. Yes, this is our beautiful table. These are the items which we added earlier. Those items are being added into our inventory. We added apple, banana, and cherry with the following attributes: item, price, quantity. So when I hit this item endpoint will get executed. Let's see how it works. Again, I'm defining a path operation function, get items. I'm loading a file again. I'm loading this file. I'm fetching each row individually. You could see here. Let's see view items. We have each row for each item. So I'm fetching each row individually. And I'm returning a small HTML table, the following styling. So next functionality is being stock report. I want to see my stock. It has 3 sections. Basically, total items 3. Total value is total cumulative sum of all the items in our stock, and out of stock items and low stock items. So you can see here, this is the endpoint. It hits stock/report. Let's go back to home. Let's see how it works. So this is our endpoint. So I'm defining a path operation function stock report. Same, I'm loading the file again. So every time I load this file, so for, as I told you, stock report, First, total items. Let's see. I'm just counting the length of items. I'm doing length on this JSON, so I will get the length of how many items are available in our file. So I will, by this I get the total number of items in our stock. Next, the total value, that is total sum of, I mean cumulative sum of all the items. For this, I'm performing sum over price into quantity because I want total sum. For I'm iterating through each item, I'm calculating each item price into quantity individually. I'm summing all. So I will get the total value of all the items in our stock. Next, I want to specify out of stock items as well as low stock items by this logic. So I'm iterating through each item in our stock. I'm saying that if quantity is 0, then it is out of stock. And if the quantity is, let's say, less than 5 or 3, could specify anything. I said 5 here. So if the quantity is less than 5, then it is low stock. So in our inventory there is no out of stock. Let's add few. Let's add item. Let's add pineapple. Price is 50. Quantity is, let's say, 3. Add item. Item added successfully. Now let's see. View items. Yes, it's being added. Stock report. You could see here low stock is pineapple because we specified that if the quantity is less than 5, then it is low stock. So I'm defining simple list function. I'm returning everything, and in my return, of course, we're getting a HTML table, you could say. Or next is buy page. It's a main functionality of this application. Let's execute this. You could see it hits the slash buy endpoint. If user want to buy anything, he just needs to enter the name. Let's say apple. Quantity, you want to buy 10 apples. He could buy multiple items as well. Let's add another item. Banana. Quantity is 12. Add another item. He likes pineapple, so quantity we have 3. Let's say 4. Check out. You could see here automatically it detects that because he ordered 4 pineapples but there are only 3 in the stock, so of course it will say unavailable items. He can't buy that, so only he was managed to buy only 2 items, the total amount being 420. Let's go back to home. Let's see how it works. So as you saw, it hits the buy endpoint. This is some path operation function. It returns this following HTML invoice document as invoice. This is the main logic here. So in my path operation function, I'm passing item name as a list because you want to buy multiple items. So every item is being appended in the list. I need to enter the quantity as well, which is also being added in the list. So I'm loading the file. Here I have 2 sections, basically bought items which are in stock, unavailable items which are low stock or out of stock, as you saw in the example. Let's buy again. Let's see cherry. Want to buy 20. Pineapple. Want to buy 5. Checkout. You could see here it differentiates the bought items and the unavailable items by this logic. Let's see how. Now of course the total amount as well. So I'm iterating through this item and quantity with name as key. If the quantity the user want to buy is greater than the quantity which we have in stock, then only he's able to buy, or else it will say out of stock. So though the item will get appended into the unavailable items list, the stock is available, then this logic will execute The cost will be calculated based on the quantity, the price into quantity, the total cost will be calculated, and the item will append it into the bought items list. And the total amount is the cost of all the items he bought. And of course, if the user buying, then automatically our stock should, I mean, the stock should be updated because the user bought apples here. Let's say 10 apples. Then automatically the 10 apples should be updated, reduced from here. For this, I define this logic. The quantity of the item should be reduced by how much the quantity the user bought. Finally, I'm saving the items file. I'm fetching each row individually for bought items as well as for unavailable items. And I'm returning the small HTML document as you saw like this. Let's go back to home. This is all my HTML CSS styling. So this is how it works. Now what if the user want to update the price? I mean, what if the price gets fluctuated? Let's see, Apple became more expensive, became 50, and you can add the quantity as well. Let's say bought just 20 now. Item Apple updated successfully. So let's check it. So let's view items. Is Apple price 50, quantity 20. It got updated. Let's see how. So this endpoint will get hit. This API will get executed. Again, I'm loading the items file. I'm fetching each item individually and returning the HTML document, and this is my logic here. So item slash update. I'm updating each item by its name, price, as well as quantity. Again, I'm loading the file. Here, name is my key. I'm updating the item by its name mainly. So if the name is not in items, so I can't update it. The item not found, you could say. If it is in the items file, then the price gets updated, the quantity gets updated, and I'm saving it. And I'm returning the response as a form and with a message, item name updated successfully, the following status code. But the final API is here, delete item. What if the user wants to delete the item from the stock? He could simply select the item. Let's say I want to delete pineapple, delete item. Yes, item pineapple deleted successfully. Let's delete banana as well. Delete, done. Let's see how. So this is my API here with the endpoint delete item. This is my path operation function. Again, I'm loading the items file. I'm returning the HTML document with the logic. This is my logic. I'm loading the items file again. The name key. Same, if the name is not in the items or if the item is not in the stock, then we would say item not found. It will raise an exception here. The item is in the stock, then simply delete item with key, that is name. After deleting, I'm saving it. I'm editing the response. So this is my grocery buddy with the following functionalities, and the logic behind it is APIs. I developed using backend APIs. So I used Python and Postgres and Fast API. I used Postgres to manage databases here. So that's all about my project. Just simple small scale application designed using Python and Fast API and PostgreSQL for backend database management. So thank you.